Hello everyone. So this chapter opens up with a cover page of Sai going back to Kano country, which is his country and as well as Don Qingjiao's country. Now we don't get any more Bartolomeo cover pages, which kind of sucks because the story was getting really cool, really interesting with him burning Shanks's flag. But I'm pretty sure we'll get to learn what the consequences are of him doing that in the actual story, not just in a cover page, because the consequences are just way too big for them to just be brushed aside. Now, speaking of Sai, going back to Kano, if you remember, Kano does have a seat at the reverie, except Sai and Don Qingjiao won't be able to attend because they didn't get there in time because they were in Dressrosa. Now, we've been talking a lot about Wano and the hype going into it, but did you know that Kano country, just like Wano is based off of Japan, Kano is based off of Korea. So it seems like we're going to get to see Sai and Baby Five's wedding taking place in Kano during this cover story. Also, every captain of the Grand Fleet has a number assigned to them. Oda assigned a number to them for some reason. And it seems like he's following this order in regards to how we get to see these cover stories take place. Also, every cover story has been 5 chapters. And every cover story has started with a shot of the respective captain's ship. That's how it starts. So today we get Sai's ship, and then after his story is done, I think it's Ideo. Ideo, I think, is number 4. After that, it's Leo, number 5. Number 6, I think, is Hajunding, which will be very interesting considering all the Elbaf buildup that we've gotten thus far, and also because Buggy recently found out that the Giants are no longer working with him. So that'll be fun to see. And then I think Orlumbus is the last one. Now, as for the chapter itself, it was obviously a transitional chapter, okay? But the feeling that I got after reading this chapter, it really made me feel like I wanted to hold hands with my friends and skip into the sunset. Let's go bake a cake. Thankfully, there is no break. Let's go bake a cake and send it soaring. That's Mary Poppins. No, but seriously, so he's baking the cake, all right? It's confirmed he's baking the cake. I know a lot of us, myself included, we didn't want this to happen, but nobody is arguing that it doesn't make sense, all right? That's not an argument. I think everybody is in 100% agreement that it makes perfect sense for this to happen. In fact, it made so much sense that people were already anticipating that this would happen, that this would be a realistic outcome to happen in the story way before this chapter, okay? Some people were even fearing this outcome. And, as it is with these things, there is some salt when it comes to this actually becoming a reality. So no matter what ingredients Sanji uses to make that cake, I can guarantee you that one of the main ingredients going into that cake will be salt. So let me tell you why it makes sense first, all right? It makes sense because it gives Sanji his time to shine. The editor hyped up Whole Cake Island, or the year that Whole Cake Island started, as being the year of Sanji, whatever that means. And then it also makes sense because they're literally in a place where we have islands made out of sweets, made out of food. Sanji is a cook. It also serves to prove that Visnmoke's wrong when they used to bully Sanji and abuse him, telling him not to cook for other people. So there's a sense of poetic justice that the thing that he was bullied for and abused for ends up being the thing that saves them all. It also makes sense from a structural standpoint because literally Big Mom's character introduction is a scene of her dancing around with her homies, singing about how much she's looking forward to eating this cake. So everything just kind of seems to go back to the beginning of the arc. So you end up tying everything up in a neat little bow for the conclusion of the arc. So it makes perfect sense narratively. But, as with everything in life, just because something makes sense, and I think this is what people are arguing, just because something makes sense doesn't necessarily prevent you from feeling disappointed. Because again, nobody in the fandom is complaining that Sanji is a bad cook. That's not even part of the discussion at this point. We know he's an excellent chef. That has been established pretty much since day 1 when he was introduced in the Baratier, okay? So the fact that he's shining, or he will shine as a cook, makes total perfect sense. But we just wanted him to shine in a different way. Now here's the good news, all right? That can still happen. It can still happen before the end of the arc. It's just hard right now because we don't know if it will happen. So to me personally, I'm just speaking for myself here, it's really gonna come down to how he actually makes the cake. What is the process of him baking this cake? Because I think, like, I'll give you an example, right? So Chopper and Brook were in the Sunny, and Brook tells Chopper, smash the mirror, just break it. So if they cut off that exit from Mirror World, I don't know if you remember this, but Brule is inside of the Mirror World with an army of chess pieces. Brook is using his soul power ability to take them out. Katakuri is obviously waiting for something to happen. I don't know what he's waiting for, but he's waiting for something. But anyway, the point is, if they cut off the mirror from the Sunny, all right, that leaves Brule and the army, as well as Daifuku is in the Mirror World, okay? So if they cut off the exit from the Mirror World to the Sunny, that means that Daifuku can come out in one of the mirrors that is in Chocolate Town or Cocoa Town or wherever Sanji and Pudding and the rest are going. If you don't believe me that Daifuku is in the Mirror World right now, you can just go back and check chapter 874. He's there waiting. And so I definitely think that there's a point to Brook saying, please smash the mirror, Chopper. We'll apologize later. It's because I think that sets up a Daifuku fight in Chocolate Town. And the reason for that is because we already had a problem with them fighting during the wedding. Sanji was kind of clashing with him during the wedding because he abused and he kind of hit Pudding there because he actually called her a useless piece of crap or something like that. You're just like useless. So Pudding is going there as well. It just makes more sense if that happens while they're trying to bake the cake. So the more conflict Oda is able to add to the process of baking the cake, the better it is. And so maybe Sanji can have a moment where he's like, I never forgive men for hitting women, and they start fighting. And maybe that's why you have Chiffon and Pudding there helping him bake the cake, because he might be combating Daifuku as he's trying to bake the cake as well. Another reason for why I think this fight is going to go down that way is because, I don't know if you noticed, but this chapter helped and served to make Pudding's character seem crazy, but seem crazy in a very endearing, funny type of way. It's kind of like Oda is building sympathy, I think, to the point that it's like, oh, you're not really evil. You're not good, but you're not evil. You're just, insane. We got to see her use her memory power ability in a very cool and creative way to make the homies in the forest remember their previous memories from, I guess their previous lifetime, back when they were human and they were, souls within actual bodies of people. So the whole point of that, I think, the whole point of this chapter is to make Pudding seem more appealing to us as readers, so that fight, once it happens, we take Sanji's side in defending Pudding against Daifuku. At least that's what I think. Also, there's a panel of Chiffon saying that if Sanji bakes the cake, Big Mom will let them go free. I think that's a complete and utter lie, and I'm going to tell you why. So Lola, Chiffon's twin sister, has been established as a character that is very bad at understanding how Big Mom behaves. She's not capable of understanding or predicting Big Mom's behavior. That's why she told Nami, go to the New World and my mom will give you a hand. It's like, no, it hasn't happened. That's been established since the beginning of the arc. So I think Lola and Chiffon, being twins, share that trait. They have that trait in common, that they just don't know how Big Mom is going to react. They say they do, but they don't know. And even if Sanji bakes the cake, what's stopping Big Mom from eating it up and saying, wow, this cake was so delicious, I'm going to need you to stay here and replace Streusen as the head chef and just be my cooking slave for the rest of my life? What's stopping Big Mom from doing that? So yeah, it just makes no sense for Sanji to cook for her and then her being like, yeah, you can just go. I don't think that's going to happen. So what is likely, and again, going back to the power, the way that Pudding's power was showcased in this chapter is that Pudding can say, okay, I'm going to mess up her memories temporarily, because in this chapter we found out that ability that she was using with the trees has a time limit. She said it doesn't last very long, so she can do that to Big Mom and allow the Straw Hats to escape to Wano by holding her off that way, but it won't be permanent. So she'll probably regain her memories and then start chasing them after they've left for Wano. And remember, it's been foreshadowed by Luffy that he will fight Big Mom after he ends up fighting Kaido. And then finally, I just want to say how much I appreciated the fact that the attack, last week's attack, didn't really end up doing much of anything aside from, well, it KO'd all of the people around Big Mom, the people that were chasing them out of the forest. They're KO'd, so that was cool. It left a humongous hole in the ground. But again, I predicted, like, she took this, she tanked this hit, essentially. She keeps walking through the earth like it's nothing. And even Zeus doesn't get scolded. She's not angry at him at all. It's actually Prometheus, the one that kind of tells him, like, what the hell was that? But, so it was kind of like, you know, just brushing it off. This chapter also got me thinking about the possibility of Luffy, Jinbei, Pedro, Brook, Chopper, Nami, and Carrot teaming up against the people at the Sunny, which I think are Katakuri and Perospero. Like, imagine if that were to happen. Like, who would win in that situation? I don't know. Imagine, I just imagine, like, Katakuri just touching the Sunny and turning it into mochi. I will say this, though, because we know that Luffy learns from fighting stronger opponents, and we recently learned that they changed Katakuri's Devil Fruit ability to being a special type of paramecia. It could be possible that Luffy learns how to use Awakening in his exchange, in his clash against Katakuri in preparation for Wano. Especially because, and I've said this before, I think Katakuri's Devil Fruit ability shares a lot of things in common with Luffy's Devil Fruit. That's it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Again, it was a transitional chapter, kind of a meh type of a chapter, but we are getting close to the climax of the arc. And every arc we've had thus far, each time we get close to the climax, Oda surprises us with an epic thing. Something really cool happens by that time. So I do not think that this arc will be the exception to that pattern, and I just gave you my thoughts of what that may look like. So please let me know what you thought about the chapter, as well as the points that I made in this video. Just leave them down below in the comments section. Like the video if you did. Subscribe if you haven't for more One Piece manga chapter reviews, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye.